There are two very different ways people seek connection. Some want enthusiasm, loyalty, and constant emotional feedback. They want to feel chosen loudly and often. Others feel more at ease with companionship that exists without demands, quiet, observant, and independent. If you belong to the second group, chances are you're drawn to cats. Not because they obey. Not because they please. But because they coexist. For a long time, society misunderstood what that preference meant. Cat lovers were turned into stereotypes, distant, antisocial, emotionally cold. But those stories were never about cats. They were about discomfort with people who don't express connection loudly. Psychology tells a very different story. Your preference for cats is not accidental. It reflects how you regulate emotion, how your nervous system seeks safety, and how you relate to autonomy and closeness. Today, we're not here to celebrate pets. We're here to understand what your attraction to cats quietly reveals about your inner world. This is the psychology of cat people. Modern culture values visibility. Expression is equated with health. Energy is mistaken for connection. Silence is often viewed as absence. Cat people disrupt that equation. They don't externalize everything they feel. They don't rely on constant interaction to feel bonded. And they don't confuse intensity with intimacy. This makes them easy to mislabel in a society that measures emotional health by volume. But psychology makes something clear: emotional quiet is not emotional emptiness. Many cat people are highly observant. They notice subtle shifts in tone, posture, mood, and environment. They speak less not because they feel less, but because they process more internally. What looks like distance from the outside is often discernment on the inside. They're not avoiding connection. They're avoiding overstimulation. And that misunderstanding is where the myth of the cat person began. Psychologists often describe personality using the Big Five traits. When researchers compare cat lovers to dog lovers, consistent patterns appear. Cat people tend to score higher in openness to experience. This isn't just creativity, it's tolerance for complexity. Comfort with ambiguity. A willingness to explore inner worlds rather than settle for simple explanations. They also tend to score lower in extroversion. This doesn't mean social avoidance. It means social interaction costs energy rather than generates it. Noise drains. Predictability restores. Many cat people also show higher sensitivity to stress, what psychology labels neuroticism. But this isn't instability. It's awareness. An early warning system that detects emotional shifts quickly. Because they feel changes sooner, they seek environments that don't overwhelm them. Cats match that need perfectly. They don't escalate energy. They don't demand response. They don't invade space. They allow regulation to happen naturally. At a certain point, personality labels stop being enough. The deeper explanation lies in nervous system regulation. Some nervous systems regulate through stimulation, activity, interaction, external feedback. Dogs are ideal for this. They mirror excitement and keep energy moving. Other nervous systems regulate through stillness. Through predictability. Through environments that don't require constant adaptation. These systems don't need engagement to feel safe, they need calm. Cats offer exactly that. They don't rush toward you. They settle near you. They allow you to arrive without expectation. For people who spend their lives anticipating, monitoring, or adjusting emotionally, this kind of companionship feels like relief. Calm isn't boredom. It's recovery. Choosing cats isn't about distance. It's about nervous systems that need space to downshift. There's a reason a solitary predator can trigger such a strong caretaking instinct in humans. Evolution wired us to respond to certain visual cues: large eyes, rounded features, soft movements. This is known as the baby schema. It activates protection and warmth before conscious thought intervenes. Cats happen to fit this pattern remarkably well. But the comfort goes deeper than appearance. Caring for a cat doesn't require emotional performance. Affection flows outward without pressure to receive it back constantly. For people who learned early to self-regulate, to be contained, to observe rather than demand, this dynamic feels safe. Care without intrusion. Closeness without overload. Cats accept attention without entitlement. They allow intimacy without consuming it. That balance matters more than most people realize. Before thoughts form, the body reacts. A cat's purr operates at low rhythmic frequencies that the human nervous system responds to instinctively. Breathing slows. Muscles soften. Stress hormones decrease. This isn't imagination. It's physiology. Low, repetitive sound signals safety. No urgency. No threat. No action required. For people whose nervous systems are constantly alert, this kind of signal is rare. Silence can feel empty. Noise can feel overwhelming. A purr fills space without invading it. That's why cat companionship feels grounding rather than exciting. It brings the body back into balance before the mind even notices. Attachment forms not through intention, but through regulation. Human relationships often come with invisible demands. Explain your feelings. Respond quickly. Match emotional energy. Reassure constantly. For sensitive or overstimulated people, this can feel exhausting. Cats don't assume access. Affection is offered, not imposed. When they leave, they don't require explanation. This creates connection without pressure. Psychologically, this mirrors how many cat people experience intimacy. They're not afraid of closeness, they're wary of obligation. With cats, consent is constant. You learn to read subtle cues. You adjust. Over time, attachment forms through respect rather than control. For people who've experienced boundary violations, this matters deeply. There's a controversial theory involving a parasite called Toxoplasma gondii, which can subtly influence behavior in infected hosts. Some research suggests it may alter fear responses and emotional processing in humans. The science is still debated. No credible claim suggests it controls human attachment. But it raises an uncomfortable question. How much of what we feel is psychology, and how much is biology? And if something feels comforting, does its origin make it less real? Regardless of cause, the result remains the same. The nervous system feels safe. And sometimes, that's what matters most. Many cat people are drawn to deep thinking. Reflection, creativity, emotional processing, these require uninterrupted attention. Cats don't fragment focus. They coexist alongside it. That's why writers, artists, and thinkers have long gravitated toward them. Not because cats increase intelligence, but because they protect the conditions it needs. Solitude here isn't isolation. It's cognitive freedom. Choosing a quieter life isn't rejecting people. It's rejecting unnecessary interference. Maybe this was never about cats. Maybe it was about the kind of nervous system you have and the environments where it feels safest. About connection that doesn't demand performance. About companionship that allows you to be exactly as you are. Cats don't ask you to be louder. They don't confuse intensity with intimacy. They simply exist with you. And for some people, that quiet presence is what finally allows them to feel human again. If this resonated with you, you're not alone. This channel exists for people who experience the world deeply and quietly. If you'd like to explore more psychological patterns like this, consider subscribing. And if this spoke to you, leave a comment. What do cats give you that the world often doesn't?